Hi, my name is Monica Kretschmer, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Universal Women's Network, Woman of Inspiration Awards, and this is the Woman of Inspiration podcast, where we speak with women who lead, inspire, and motivate. Today, we have a very special guest. I'd like to welcome to the stage Lavanya Hariharan, known to many as Lavi. She is the regional manager US Operations for Enbridge. She is also a 2022 Woman of Inspiration Authentic Leader and a new 2025 Woman of Inspiration SupportHER Award honoree. Lavi, in one word, is a rock star leader in every sense. With more than 15 years of experience across engineering, operations, safety, and renewable energy, she leads large, complex teams in traditionally male dominated industries with clarity, courage, and heart. Known for leading by example, Lavi is a trusted mentor, a champion of peers, and a fierce advocate for both women and men. Her leadership philosophy is rooted in authenticity, humility, and trust, proving that titles don't create leaders, people do. Lavi, welcome to the podcast. We're so excited to celebrate your leadership and the impact that you continue to make. Listeners, get ready to be inspired.
Thank you, Monica, for having me today with you. I appreciate your time.
So here we go. We're going to have some fun and a great conversation. But Lavi, I look at what you have accomplished in your years leading teams. I mean, your role continues to expand and evolve. I see CEO somewhere in the future. Like, this is where I see you. But I want to start with, just a question of what you thought or what you pictured as a young Lavi. What did you think about, your career would be when you were like a young girl, like 12 or 15?
Thank you. Very interesting question, I would say that. When I was young, I didn't picture myself in an oil and gas industry, maybe in any other side of industry. But I did know that one day I'll be hands-on on stuff which I do. I will be leading things which I never thought I would be leading. I was a very curious girl when I was small. I'll just put that. I'll be running through trying to find things out, what I want to do. I did go and study different languages, which I was not aware of before. I used to explore things. It's like that's something which maybe brought me into this trend of doing what I'm doing today. Every day I wanted to change. I wanted to make sure like I'm doing something very different. Most of other things I would say is like I was much involved in my community too. That's very, very young an age. I wanted to serve back my community where I am. And I also wanted to go and help people. Maybe that's the root of what I'm doing now. Like always, I say, like when I came into the leadership, I think that was my driver behind that would really help me do what I want to do. My passion drove me here. Engineering was there because of my curiosity that come in, so automatically brought me to a stream. I was very good at math and science, so it all tunneled together to be what I am today. But leadership, it was not something which I planned to, but it came through. I found that was my cup of tea. Initially, it was not. Then I felt I was doing good and I was able to learn from many and also help many. So that's where it came to what I am. I never imagined myself in an automotive industry, neither a train industry, neither in a oil and gas or renewable. But my career path did take me to different areas and different industries, and it led me to what I am today. I'm hoping to learn more and more every day.
So I want to talk a little bit about that curiosity because, I mean, we're going to have listeners that have daughters at that age where there's a fork in the road and what should I choose? And, if you're curious and if you like math and, maybe engineering is a really, really great opportunity or technology. So, did you have anybody behind the scenes? And I know that I talked a little bit about, female role models with some of our other women of inspiration. And I'd just love to find out, did you have those female role models around you to help guide those decisions?
Mm. So when I was young, I had my aunt. She was a paraplegia patient. She couldn't walk. but she was a teacher in math and science. She led me to where I am today. I'll put that. She's no more. But she was a big driver. She started studying in her graduations and she met with an accident. But then she taught around like 1,000 kids in her life. And that drove me. It's like that was the reason where I am today. That brought me into the field I wanted to. That developed my curiosity. One thing I would say is like my parents, right? They never say no to what I did. So I said like I wanted to do electrical electronics engineering. They never questioned me. It's like that's not a common theme from where I come from. And they said, "Oh, you want to try it out? Go try it out." Then I said, "No, I want to learn computer science." Then said, "Okay, go try it out." Then I said, I'm going to an industry where majority is men. And they were like, you want to be there? Go. That stops you. As parents, people around you is very important. The whole village was behind me to be where I am today. And today I have great mentors around. I have one person, Teresa Wilson. She's also one of the awardee from of Inspiration. She's been there supporting me. Cynthia Hansen from Enbridge. I do have. It's not always women, right? There's allyship that does come into. So I do have like Rob Josvik, and I have somebody called Ron Bouchard. There are people who come and stand beside you every time you come on and stay with you all the time. I would say also, my husband and I have two boys, so I'm always surrounded by men. I'll call that way, family or work, and I think they still encourage me because my role does take me away from family a lot, and they give me the room to do what I want to do, and they support what I do, and at the same time they trust me that I will be able to balance my life and the priorities across. And it does really matter who we talk to. And yourself, Monica, you've been very supportive in this few years where I've been knowing you from the first award to now. And there's many times I reach you and get support from you. So it's wonderful to be surrounded with the right people. Never stop what you want to do. Your instinct will take you there. Whatever your heart says is where you would land yourself to. Never think that you cannot do it. I think like I own my career, I own everything myself. And I think that's something which I will encourage the future people to come on thinking that they do what they want to do with the right encouragement and the right path they choose to.
So it sounds like, I mean, thank you for that. I mean, I really do appreciate your kind words because I know that I was just like, you were so quick to respond. You are like, I'm going to say, like, there's one word, it's rock star. I have never met anybody so intentional about their leadership and really the way that you are. Um, every single step. Like you're so consistent, Lavi. And so, was that leadership role and that path intentional right from the beginning? When do you remember that moment that you thought, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I am going to be the best leader that I can possibly be, and I am going down that path. Do you remember that moment?
Leadership was not something I set out to chase it early on, Monica. I think it found me through responsibility. Earlier in my engineering career, different roles, I often become the person people came through when things were unclear, when they realized, like, I don't know what to do, I'm stuck here. And I realized that was a natural instinct that brings to me. I was able to bring a structure, bring some calmness, momentum to the complex situation which people are struggling across. That is what truly inspired me to be what I am today as a leader, to make decisions, good or bad, right? Directly impacted people. So every decision we take, directly or indirectly, will come back to the people around you, to the assets which you work on. So this all lead into what I call it as the leadership. So it was not a natural leadership that came and I chased it early on, but then I found out, oh, that's something very natural in me. I can solve problems. I can take decisions. I can support people, still keeping my temper down. And I can also keep people around me calm and have that momentum in the complex situation going on. So I would say that really created an environment where people felt supported, safe, and also felt like capable of doing best things out of them. So I think that's what I would call leadership come from. And it was nothing that I knew that I'm going to be leader today, but it did happen.
Well, what I find so incredible, Lavi, is that you lift up your peers and your superiors. So you don't just lead by example, but you actually lead in circles of championing your superiors and your peers. So tell me a little bit about that because I have conversations and I see lots of leaders. Um, and I've never really seen somebody as actively, strategically, really championing those above you and beside you and below you. But really importantly, the people in positions of power, because I think they often get overlooked for, celebrating the accomplishments because they're on the road and they're in a leadership position. But you've identified something that I don't think that others recognize is that they also need that recognition and that support as well.
It's like I mentioned, power comes with a responsibility to that. It's not just to go and perform things, but also go and uplift people around you, people above you and below you. Yeah? So it's a teamwork when it comes to things that make decisions, make a big organization work on. I'm very consciously take things and make it visible. I also choose who gets invited to the rooms, who gets that exposure, who is trusted on, and the stretch opportunities are very important to make the change. The change starts with us. You cannot wait for people to make the change. The same change starts with everyone around us, right? So we take the responsibility to make the changes. I use my position to open doors and call that way. What really brings me with my title is that that position really has made open doors for many other who are like me, who wants to grow, who wants to bring things out, and who has the big capacity that's sitting in them to go and put that out. Um, I think we have to ensure that we don't miss that. We have to get all the good ones with us when we go. Wherever you go, pull the right ones. If I have an opportunity to get the right people with me, I always do it. Don't wait for it. Success feels incomplete if it doesn't create opportunity for others. If I'm just going to say, like, I'm going to climb all the ladders, but just leave other people, trust me, I will never make up the ladder. That is how I call it. So success is very, very incomplete with the right people around you. So take the right ones with you, irrespective of whether you're their colleagues or people who work for you, people whom you work for. I think you need the right people surrounded by for you, and they need the right people surrounded for them. So it's a give and take, and it's a responsibility. So we have to keep the doors open, normalize this diverse leadership styles and bring different levels, different leaders throughout our journey. And it's not a one-day journey. It goes on, it goes on and goes on. I learned it from great mentors around me about that. And I'm still learning. It's a never-ending learning, I call that.
And there's that curiosity coming out again. So I would love to know from your perspective, Lavi. I mean, you're in a male-dominated industry. Enbridge, I have to say, is probably one of the top companies that really walk the talk. And I see it so vividly through your actions and through your colleagues. Um, but I want to talk a little bit about the industry as a whole and what progression you've seen because everybody says, oh, we're not moving fast enough. I have seen myself changes that are made, but I'd love to hear your perspective on seeing that change and progression made and when that really started to make shape or really started to get speed.
Like working in a male-dominated industry taught me the confidence that doesn't come from being the loudest voice. It comes from consistency and preparation and integrity. It's not your voice getting like, I'm here. You have to show that in your consistency, being prepared and being integral to your team. I learned that the credibility is built when your actions align with your words, especially under pressure. One other thing I learned that saying true to myself mattered more than trying to fit into a world. When I stopped trying to be blending in and instead focusing on what is being effective present, And this is my leadership voice becomes stronger and it's more respected. So I would say it's a combination that it's not the voice, it's how you put your voice out and how you bring that in. So be yourself, be authentic to what you do is my goal when I sit on a table like that. And you'll be automatically see, right? Don't try to be an S person always. It doesn't hurt to say no, but with a reason to say why you don't agree with a respect and say, this is why I don't agree, and these are the reasons behind it. People will listen. And we just go there and say, like, you don't hear me, nobody listens to you. So the way you put yourself out is very important, especially Enbridge is pretty good with that culture. I always get a seat there. I always get my opinions on it. But I've been into various different industries, Monica, where it was not easier. Path was not the easiest, but I learned throughout my career. Um, I tried doing that at work and also at home too. The three men and two boys, making sure I preach what I say even at home and at work. I'm consistent where I am. I'm authentic to myself, so I don't have to change my tone. It's pretty the same everywhere. It really helps me out. So that's why I like being in any industries where I can. I know I will find a path out of it.
So I want to talk a little bit more about that woman in position of power because that is a very, very important role. Because as you said, you're using your role to open the door for others, and you wouldn't. I mean, it'd be useless to climb that ladder alone. Because that's not really where the change is going to be made. It's by lifting others up. So, as a woman in senior leadership, what responsibility do you feel comes with holding that power? And how do you use your position to open the doors for others? So, do you have any examples of how other leaders that are listening in positions of power might be able to follow in your footsteps to really open up the doors and help others? Because it comes naturally to some and not to others. And that has nothing to do with the intention. It's just that natural flow or opportunity. So maybe you can shed some light on that.
I would say is like just be a good listener. First step and then open the doors. It's easy to open the doors, but if you're not ready to listen, people walk away down. So if you're ready to listen, put yourself on their shoes, right? It's very important when people come with their questions, comments, concerns, feedbacks. It can be a positive note too, but just give them a moment to say what they want to say. Then you can put your opinions on. Everyone are ready to take it. Everybody are looking for constructive feedbacks when we have to give some. Like I said, it's not always an S. There are times I've said no to my career moves. There are sometimes I've said yes. It's a very challenging situation, but it does have to be very authentic to yourself, and it might be different from everybody. I call it like it's a recipe for a cake, and the recipe can be a little different. Your sugar might be higher, my sugar might be lower. I might put a honey on a replacement of a sugar. It can be very different, but the ultimate goal is the cake, and the cake which you like to eat, the cake which you like to present it out, right? So, as a leader, I think it's the most important few things I would call, I would say, is like being ready to listen, very actively listen, ready to give a constructive feedback. That's most biggest challenge when you have to give feedbacks to people around you. The other thing is that decision making. There are times I have to wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning and make a huge decision. I call it an executive decision before I reach anybody to keep things going on. And you should be in a power to take it. And also be having the trust within the team that, yes, I can make the decision on their behalf. I think trust is a huge piece on it. The fourth one I would call it is like having the right team around you, right people around you. It's not all the time you'll be able to answer your questions, but you know where and when and how to read. I think that's important. You don't have to have the whole recipe, like I mentioned. It's like, you know where to go look for a recipe, how to do, where to get the trays on. It's very important. These are few things I would call it. Surround yourself with the right people. Never lose an opportunity to have the right people with you. Bring them in. And the right people doesn't mean an S people. I call that. Right people are the people who are ready to challenge you back, irrespective of your title and your position. These are the people you need to be with. And once you have the right people, the right mentality and the decision making, and having the trust, I think everybody can rock as a leader. And first thing starts with listening. That's where I'm today.
Beautiful, Lavi. As I'm listening to you, what comes up is that vulnerability in leadership. So when you're at the top, often we don't let the crack show because we don't want that foundation to look unstable or, so I'd like to talk about that messy middle because every part of the leadership journey has a messy middle. So, as a woman in power, how do you navigate that? And I mean, I think it's part of that relatability that they see that, you're human. Yes, you're consistent. Yes, your leadership is very thorough. But let's talk about that messy middle and about when things don't go as planned. Do you have an example of how that lesson has taught you resilience and how do you incorporate that into your leadership?
Thank you. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, every meaningful leadership journey has a messy middle, I'll call that, including mine. I've led through moments where plans unraveled, resources were very tight, expectations are pretty high. What those seasons really taught me is resilience, right? Is it about pushing harder? It's about recalibrating, like I said, listening and leading with clarity. I learned to stay steady, calm, communicate honestly, right, and make decisions grounded in my own values rather than just fear. That moments did reshape me more than the wins could ever do that to me. Good examples would be like there will be times that you might have to make decisions with legal finance, but you have to make a quick decision because 50 people are waiting on the field to know what you are going to do. It's taking that balance and saying why and why we cannot, can yes or no, but with a proper justification to them and translate to their language. I don't say like leadership language is easy to read. Their languages are very, very different, but put it in their level, put it in their language, and ready to be there with them. Then they're going to go and turn the wrenches in the mid cold, like minus 20, minus 30 degree. It's okay to be with them once in a while. And they do value that. Your presence makes a big difference as a leader. And I learned a lot throughout my career that either it can be up on a turbine or up on a solar or a different solar field or a different on a gas site. Anywhere you've been, people like to see the leaders, share their stories. They like to show the proud moment of what we do. I think being a messy middle, that's very important, right? Because that's where the struggle comes when like you have to be also doing the work, but you also have to be on the field. It's both together. That's one of the great examples, but balancing it, prioritizing it, it's very important. So I have my messy middle, mine included a lot many times, but that movement really is about like resourcing tight, expectations were high, but being calm, steady, being honest and making decisions did really bring me to the wins what I have.
So you've actually scaled, you've been on the ground or you're on the site with a hard hat and boots and the vest, the whole nine yards. That must be exciting to get out of the office.
It is. It's a beautiful experience. If people haven't been in the operations side of the industry, some of the best experience you can get. You get a mix of the corporate world, but at the same time, when you go out, it's a different world. You learn about the safety culture is huge. You see it in a different angle. You see what people do. It's easy to get your books and numbers going, but the books and numbers are coming from the people on the TV. And Jimmy, that's a very precious thing, Monica. They are the people who are doing it. They are the ones who are bringing it to us. So being an engineer, being an operation person, being a mom, I say to my kids, that's a wonderful thing that you have, and that's a great skill set everybody should be having. As an engineer, you sometimes go out and even do the wrenches, right? So it's nice to be having your hard hat. I would say like more than my heels, I've worn my hard hats and my boots more than I wear my heels and my hairdresser's stuff. Right? So I love it. I live with it. My FRs are very close to me. When I wear my FRs, I have a bunch of FRs. I love to take it. And every time I wear my boots, I feel a pride in meeting. I'm proud of the team. It's a nice movement. And if anybody can experience that, if there's an opportunity, you should take it. Irrespective whether you're an engineer, accountant, or you're in leadership or a non-leadership role, there's an opportunity, take it, be on the field, learn from the people who are doing it for everyone. That's the best thing one can learn in any industry, and it's the easiest way to learn things when you see and touch it.
Oh my God, you have me so excited. I want to wear a hard hat and boots. Take me with you, Lavi. Take me on a field trip.
Yeah,
That would actually be a really great experience, to be honest with you. I would love to do that. So I don't know if you have any behind the scenes moments that you can fandangle with Enbridge, but I think that'd be super cool to do that. And we can interview some of the people within the on the ground, like right kind of at the ground, at the front line. It's exciting.
action.
Okay, so let's make that happen for 2026. So I want to talk a little bit about navigating, different industries. I mean, male-dominated industries. I mean, manufacturing, renewables, automotive, oil and gas. I mean, all of those industries I think are great opportunities for women. When we see low numbers where women are not, I'm like, run, girl, run, because there are opportunities. So, what sort of mindset did you have that have helped you navigate challenges or really cross those borders into industries that are typically male dominated?
I would say curiosity. Maybe that's where I came from. Curiosity and humility, right? Every industry has its own language, risk, and rhythms. But the leadership fundamentals remains the same. Either it might be an automotive industry I worked on, or a locomotive industry, or an alarm industry I worked on. Then within Enbridge, from a gas distribution to a storage to power, the leadership fundamental remains the same. The rhythms might be different, the risk might be different, the language might be different. I focused on learning it very fast. Why not? That was something which I always say. Why can't I do this? Why is it different? I should be. Asking the right question, right? And building trust early. I call it like the first few days is a listening phase when you go to a new team, but then is the most of a building trust. The more easier and earlier trust you build, it's easier for you to navigate. I didn't assume past success guaranteed future success. Something I would say it's like it doesn't mean I did awesome in this industry, I'll do great in this industry. I think that really closes your door for learning if you do that. I always focused on like going and learning, listening, hearing from the actual people who are doing it. The openness did allow me to adapt quickly and lead effectively across different industries and being different business unit within an Enbridge too, right? I think that's more important to be a good listener, active listener, and ready to adapt. I moved countries across Monica. I started my career in India, then I worked in Canada, now in US. So it's a third country. Adaptability is there throughout my career, and being ready to adapt to any new situation, new regulatory, new people around you, new culture. It all comes through curiosity, and I think that drove what I'm today on that. So leadership fundamentals remains the same. So whatever you do, it would come back to the same basis. The foundation needs to be very strong.
And I think there's also something really important is that your skills are transferable. So you might have to learn a new industry, but what you've acquired in knowledge, in skill set of people and leadership, that stays with you.
Totally, totally agree with that. It's like that doesn't change, and that's a base when you go to different industry or different business unit. You put me from here and put me somewhere else, I can still go and survive because the basics are the same.
So I want to talk about you often say that people follow trust, not titles. So how did you go about building trust across such a large, complex team and in operations?
Very, very great question. Great question. Um, uh, to me, yes, I totally agree. People don't follow titles, they follow trust. And then always, trust is built through presence, consistency, and being followed through that. I focus on being visible, listening very actively, making decisions that balance people, safety, culture, results. When team knows that you will show up, especially when things are hard, when they're struggling, they know that you'll be there for them. Trust scales naturally. It's a very natural instinct for human. The moment you get that trust, you're good. You've crossed 94% of the hurdles as a leader. That's the
Mm.
most important thing, being available for them, ready to listen and help them make the decisions. You don't have to make every decision for them. Show them how to make the decision. Be the guide, be the coach with them, and give them the opportunity to even fail at times. It doesn't mean always they succeed, right? But be there with them, even if it's a fail or a pass, you be with them. I think that's the most important thing. And just be yourself, be authentic. Every leadership is going to be different. Every leader style is going to be different. Just be yourself and be a good active listener and be there. Show your presence. It's very important. And I follow that very consistently on anything I do and follow through. Sometimes it's okay to do a check in with them. You might not be talking to them every day. I have people different levels. I don't talk to them every day, but I do a friendly check-in once in a while to check on them to see how their things are, how they do. Uh, that really creates a big collaboration, and people love it. And I like it when my leaders do that to me. It's a two-way. And I learned it from great leaders around my organization and different organizations I've worked on. And sometimes I do take good things out of people, and it's something which I love.
So I think there's a great opportunity to do a little shout out to them. So how many people do you actually lead?
So now at this present, I'm leading around like direct reports is around four, but indirectly the contractors and the sub reports, it's around like 100 people, I would call it, that comes around, changes every day depending on what's happening on the projects and stuff. So it's a lot of people, different areas I cover within US. I do have majority in Texas at this point, but I do have sites which is across US everywhere, and we are growing fast too. So it's a huge thing. I've led groups of like 100, 150. I've led unionized, non-unionized employees in my past. In my industry, I've led many people too. My leadership scale goes different every time I go and take a different project and different things. Then I love it, what I do, and it's beautiful journey, Monica. More than the numbers, I would call it. It's more the type of people you lead. I'm proud to say I lead people with different gems. I call it. I start with the new grads all the way to people having like 40, 55 experience. So it's a very nice to learn from the different generations of people across in the industry.
Well, you have the stage now, Lavi. Is there anything that special that you want to say to all your teams? And, like just use this opportunity to voice because sometimes they don't know exactly how much their voice impacts your voice. I mean, you've led these teams, but is there anything you want to say to everybody that's listening?
Yes, for sure. I would say like just be authentic to yourself, Monica, and for the future generations, one thing I would say is like we all own our own career. Nobody is going to come and give something to you and say run with it. So always take a pride on what you do. It might be a small job to a big job. Let's do that. And I want to say big thank you to you, my great mentors around me, internal, external, different industries, and also to my team, who's been always with me in different industries and the current team, who's been supporting me every day on what I do while I learn. And special thanks also I wanted to say to my whole family. My husband has been my big backbone support for the job I do. So I wanted to say big thank you to Anand, Krishnan, and my two lovely kids, Tanish and Isha and Anand, and my parents. and people around me who's been supporting me every moment from the time I'm on, saying that I can do what I want to do and never stop me down flying the colors I wanted to fly with. So that's the moment. I want to say be authentic to everyone and to yourself, and just keep leading what you're leading. Everyone is a leader to themselves.
Beautiful. So that really is a nice segue into, the recognition of the Woman of Inspiration Support Her award. Congratulations again. Um, you know, what does that really mean to you personally, and why is it so important that we celebrate women who lead with integrity and courage and empathy and, elevate them personally and professionally?
Thank you, Monica. Being recognized as one of inspiration is deeply humbling. To me, it's not about personal achievement, it's about representation. It really reinforces why visibility matters. When women who led with integrity, courage, empathy, and we celebrated it during the event, it gives others the permission to lead authentically. We give that open door, which I've been talking about, very, very openly to others. That ripple effect is very powerful. Every leader takes it to their own, and it goes higher than just one person. So to me, being recognized is a very wonderful moment. Thank you for putting me there. And to me, my representation goes more higher, and I can do what I want to do a little more in a wider range. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Levy. You are certainly the epitome of what we call a woman of inspiration. You lead by example at every level. It's been such a joy to see you continue to rise. And one thing I know for certain is that women of inspiration never stay at the same place. That's what's so unique is that there's always the next. And so, what I'd love to know from you, Lavi, is looking ahead, what is your next? What impact do you hope to make? And where do you see your next 5 years? Like, is it CEO, Lavi? Like, what are you shooting for?
Thank you, Monica. What's next for me is continuing to lead at scale, which I like to do. Grow others, and drive impact with purpose. If someone says I can become a better leader because I worked with them or her or him, that's a legacy I care about most. That is what I really want to take it. Yes, I'm looking on like the next level in my career at this point, Monica. I'm trying to get into that levels, working with my organization on it. But that doesn't stop me. What I would say is like becoming a better leader never stops. And I learn and I like to give back to the community from where I'm now. I want my legacy to be about people, leaders who feel confident, teams that feel trusted, and cultures where integrity and performance coexist. That's what I want to be seen as. So, sure, I'll continue what I'm doing.
Beautiful. I see that legacy unfolding for you, Lavi. Um, it's been really great speaking with you. This is the Woman of Inspiration podcast. And so I always end with your definition of a woman of inspiration. So, what is that for you, Lavi?
Authenticity, I would put even more than a definition of word, Monica, authenticity and giving it back.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, I see a big bookshelf back there, and we just launched our Monica's bookshelf because there's so many stories of women. There's so many great examples of leaders that are paving the path for others. Do you have a favorite book for our listeners that you want that are you're reading, or whether it's leadership or motivation, or do you have a favorite book that you want to share with our listeners that you think is impactful? So we had a quick pause, everyone. Um, and Lavi, so now what is that favorite book? And it could be anything. What's your favorite read? What are you reading right now? But I always love to have that question because our listeners are curious about what our leaders read.
Thank you, Monica. I would say the one book which I've been reading recently is Dare to Lead. It's by Brené Brown. That does talk about like courage, vulnerability, trust, and tough conversations, right? It's very excellent book for being authentic. That does talk about like how we put people first in leadership. I would recommend that to people if they haven't read that before to just go and have a peek on it. It's very interesting. You'll get it in a book. You'll be reading it for hours. The other one I would say, like the Seven Habits of Highly Executive, Effective People. It's by Stephen Covey, and it's one of the other good book that talks about like timeless leadership principles. So if you're new to leadership, that's a good way to start your leadership with. Once you're in a good way, then that to lead would be a good book to go in the next step. And there's few other books that for sure will take you once you get into the stream of reading.
Beautiful. Okay, so the name of Brene Brown's book was
That to lead.
Dare to Lead. And you know what? I'm looking on my shelf. It's upstairs. I've Dare to Lead upstairs on my bookshelf there. It is a great book.
It's a wonderful book.
Awesome. Well, Lavi, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your leadership wisdom with our listeners on the Woman of Inspiration podcast. It is always a pleasure to speak with you. And thank you for showing us what authentic leadership is, that it isn't about a perfection. It's about consistency. It's about courage, and it's about lifting others as you rise. So thank you, Lavi. Listeners, if you would like to get a hold of Lavi, where can they do that, Lavi?
They can reach me via the social media platform LinkedIn, Monica. I'm there actively. They can reach me and they can reach through the different email IDs. I have that. And I'm happy to support if there's any questions that would come up and take them to what I know.
Beautiful. Or if there's a career opening that there's a young woman or a woman in transition that would love to be a part. So thank you, Lavi. It's been a pleasure. And for those listening, if you loved this episode, share it widely. Subscribe below and always lead by example. So thank you so much, Lavi. It was wonderful. And look forward to our listeners joining us again on the Woman of Inspiration podcast.
Thank you, Monica. I appreciate your time and for wonderful.
Thanks, Lavi.